After Tower of Fantasy got rid of its gacha system, I thought I was done playing gacha games. Well, I guess I'm back. What's up guys, welcome to the video. I just dedicated over 100 hours into NTE's third closed beta test, and after exploring a good chunk of the map, playing through all of the available story, and obtaining every character, I'm here to give you a detailed review of NTE's systems. But first, there seems to be a lot of confusion on what NTE actually is. Almost everywhere online you might have heard NTE described as anime GTA. On the surface, well, there are some GTA elements. Player housing, vehicle requisition, police chases, you could even end up in prison. But, believe it or not, the developers actually want to distance themselves from the anime GTA label. Hada Studios outright says that NTE cannot compare to such a generation-defining title like Grand Theft Auto. Instead, the label they actually want to establish is a supernatural city. The experience inside the city of Hetheru is a blend of everyday urban life with mysterious paranormal element. One minute you could be enjoying a cruise downtown, and in the next minute you're being transported into a different dimension. In this world, humans coexist with strange entities known as anomalies. You take on the role of the appraiser operating out of the Avon Antique Shop, and your job is to contain or nullify dangerous anomalies. The story of NTE plays out like an episodic slice of life anime. There's a strong focus on mystery, light-hearted comedic moments, and has very expressive cutscenes. Honestly, at times I thought I was watching the anime rather than playing your everyday gacha game story. But what really stood out to me is how it handles the main character. The MC isn't reduced to being a glorified cameraman, nor are they the central figure that demands everyone's attention. The appraiser is often a supporting pillar, and only when the group needs to rely on their unique expert ability will they step into the leading role. The MC feels like a real character while having certain strengths. They also have to rely on others because of their lack of experience. This allows the diverse cast of characters to often take the spotlight and really gives them a chance to show off their unique personalities. While I personally think the story is one of NTE's biggest strengths, the game's strongest feature by far is its open world. The city of Hetheru is built using Unreal Engine 5, and the level of detail is immediately noticeable. Roads are packed with civilians, various types of stores can be entered without a loading screen, and the roads are cluttered with traffic depending on your options in the setting. During rainstorms, water can be found sticking to characters' clothing, streaking down the sides of buildings, and reflecting off the streets as you move through the city. And if you're an anime fan, Chinese players have found over 100 anime references scattered throughout the open world. From subtle nods to full-on homages to series like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Naruto Shippuden, Your Name, Spirited Away, Initial D, and more. With so many references packed into the world, Hetheru has to be large enough to compensate. To really get around efficiently, you want your own vehicle, and cars and motorcycles can be purchased at any local dealership. Behind the wheel, driving felt a little bit unresponsive on keyboard, but became much more smoother once I switched to a controller. You can also purchase your own house through a real estate agent and invite characters to live with you as roommates. You can decorate your own space by buying furniture from the furniture store or straight up taking abandoned furniture dumped in alleyways. You can also place special furniture anomalies that are earned through open world activities, which can provide team buffs or quality of life bonuses. But obtaining cars and houses aren't a free luxury. You have to fund your own lifestyle by interacting with the City Tycoon system. The City Tycoon is a progression system tied to how much money you make by working in the city. By taking on everyday jobs like truck deliveries, taxi services, street racing, and even running your own cafe, you earn Fons, the city's currency, which will increase your City Tycoon level. If you own your own cafe, you can deploy characters you pull from the gacha to generate passive income while you're out exploring. As the manager, your job is to keep the cafe's inventory in stock, by either ordering quick deliveries at an extra fee or by heading out and doing the shopping yourself. As you earn more money and increase your City Tycoon level, you unlock some nice rewards. For example, at level 18, you can unlock Cheese, an S-rank character, and you can eventually fully max out her dupes and her preferred weapon all through the City Tycoon system. But by far my favorite method to make money is the Pink Paws Bank Heist. This game mode plays like an extraction looter minigame where every run is about risk versus reward. Within a 15-minute time frame, you'll be pillaging offices, crowbarring safes, and completing small-scale puzzles for various types of valuables. All 3 floors of the bank are patrolled by anomalies that can break the items in your inventory every time you get hit. During the heist, phone booths will act as extraction points, and upon leaving, all of your earnings will directly convert into funds. If you fail to extract in the remaining time, you will lose everything. If you manage to get to the bottom floor, there are 10 locked vaults that can only be opened using vault access cards. These cards are randomly scattered throughout the bank, and if you're lucky, enemies can drop them too. Some of the most valuable items have a chance to spawn in these locked vaults, so always keep an eye out for these access cards. And then there's the biggest vault at the end of the bottom floor. This vault can only be accessed by inserting a chaotic cube that is protected by 4 animated statues on the second floor. Once they're defeated, you can claim the cube for yourself and gain access to the final vault. In the remaining time you have left, you have to defeat the boss and extract with all your earnings. If you manage to clear all of that, there is a huge payoff. At most, I've gone home with almost 160,000 fawns in just one round. Unfortunately, this mode did not have a co-op option in the beta. However, it's confirmed that co-op will be added for full release, so being able to run this with friends or even random players will easily make an already great mode 10 times better. Outside of the city Tycoon system, the city is constantly throwing smaller interactions your way. Playable characters also wander the open world and you can run into them naturally and build a bond over time. While wandering the city, you can also find discarded storage locker keys and use them to access someone's storage locker for all the loot inside. You can stop criminals for robbing civilians, harassing shops, and return the cars they've stolen for a reward at the security office. And if you don't want to play the hero, there are some illegal activities you can partake in. Stealing items from convenience stores plays out like a small minigame. You'll have to try your best and take an item off the shelf without the staff catching you. You can force civilians out their cars with violence, which can immediately put the cops on your tail. The police AI, though, needs a lot of work. Being caught by the police means you'll be thrown into prison, where you can either pay your fine, stay throughout your 7-day sentence, or there's an entire jailbreak mechanic with several different endings you can try to pull off. But of course, this is still a supernatural city. The open world regularly shifts from the everyday life to full-on paranormal chaos. Cinematic boss fights can break out in the middle of the road, and some of the exploration puzzles lean surprisingly hard into horror. There are puzzle sections involving shadow-like entities that only move when you look away, and even a haunted school puzzle sequence that's genuinely a challenge to complete. It's moments like these that really sell the identity of NTE's world, a place where normal city life and supernatural threats constantly collide. It goes beyond just a reskin of GTA and sets itself apart from similar titles. All of this depth leads us to an area where NTE might play it a little too safe. It's combat. If you played any of the well-known gacha games, you already have a taste of what NTE's combat has to offer. You swap between 4 characters and you have the familiar skills, ultimate, perfect dodges, parries, and elemental reactions. But NTE's elemental reactions differ in how they actually occur. In NTE, you have 6 elements or Esper abilities: Cosmos, Anima, Incantation, Chaos, Psych, and Lakshana. Only Esper abilities positioned next to each other on the Esper wheel can cause reactions with each other. Cosmos and Anima create Blossom, which spawns a pea shooter that attacks targets, dealing area damage. Anima and Incantation cause Hex, which trigger extra follow-up damage when attacking with Anima or Incantation. Incantation and Chaos cause Scorch, which inflict damage over time for 15 seconds. Chaos and Psych cause Nova, which marks the target, causing a large burst of damage after 5 seconds. Psych and Lakshana cause Stain, which makes the target take more Psych and Lakshana damage. And then Lakshana and Cosmos cause Remora, which marks the target, slowing their movement and attack speed. On top of that, every character has a unique Esper cycle passive that enhances these reactions. Each passive is active as long as the character is in your squad, even if they're off field. For example, these 3 Anima Esper characters all enhance the Blossom reaction between Cosmos and Anima in their own unique way. Dandelion can fire more projectiles from the pea shooter, Mint can expand the projectile's damage area, while Ji Yuan can spawn additional pea shooters and increase the total limit allowed on the field. This can possibly allow for more varied types of team building compared to what's offered in similar games, but with the lack of characters in the beta, I couldn't test many options. The combat isn't the biggest step in a new direction, which can leave some people feeling underwhelmed. However, the amount of depth this system has to offer hasn't been fully explored, but I have to give credit where credit is due. They've cooked up some of the more unique bosses that I've seen in the anime open world space. If they can keep that up, even though the combat might just be okay, the bossing might do enough to keep it fresh. Moving on to the equipment system. Instead of traditional gear pieces, your characters are equipped with what's essentially a handheld game console. The console uses cartridges, which act as your main gear piece. By completing the rabbit hole game mode using stamina, you earn cartridges, each having its own unique effects. Every cartridge has a 2-piece and 4-piece set bonus, and these bonuses are activated by using Tetris-style pieces that you slot directly into the console screen. To get Tetris pieces, you'll be spending game coins earned through the rabbit hole game mode, and the console will return a random selection of Tetris pieces. On the easy difficulty, you'll get random blue rarity pieces. But on the medium and hard modes, you can actually choose which purple or gold rarity pieces you want before pulling. A big plus is that every subset on both the cartridges and these Tetris pieces are fully revealed before you upgrade anything. That means no wasted resources and way less time spent gambling on bad gear. Once you slot it in the correct 4 Tetris pieces to activate your set bonuses, you're left with extra empty spaces on the console. On the top left of the screen will list the character's unique trait that determines what type of Tetris pieces they benefit from. Some characters want pieces made of 2 blocks, other characters will want 3 block pieces, and filling in those slots correctly gives you additional bonuses. If all of that sounds like too much work, the developers include an in-game guide that straight up tells you the best cartridge, the best Tetris piece combinations, and even the ideal substats for each character. The in-game guide also includes the best suited arcs or weapons for your character. Weapons in NTE have been largely divorced from the Gacha system. B and A rank weapons are obtainable through exploration, and beating any of the open world bosses will immediately give you an S rank weapon upon the first clear. There is unfortunately still a limited weapon banner. Pulls are done in sets of 10, and after 6 attempts you have a 25% chance to obtain the featured weapon. After 8 attempts the weapon is guaranteed. If you'd rather not pull at all, you can spend 25 keys, the pulling currency, to directly purchase any of the non-limited weapons instead. To be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about this system. I would majorly prefer if they just left weapons as something you get from the open world, but I guess they gotta pay the bills. Speaking of pulls, we do need to talk about the character gacha, and surprisingly, it handles pulls in a different way than most games in this genre. Instead of having a traditional banner system, NTE's gacha is presented as a game board. Every time you pull, you roll a dice from 1 to 6 and your avatar moves across the board. As you land on different tiles, different outcomes can happen. Landing on a purple box gives you a 0.2% chance to obtain the featured S-rank character. Landing on a gold box increases your chances to 3%. There are also other special tiles mixed in. A glider skin tile that gives you a free glider skin, lost piece tiles that give lost pieces, a currency used to buy monthly limited pulls or upgrade materials. Some tiles will push you off the main board onto the outer paths. These paths contain special tiles that can refund dice rolls, unlock character outfits, grant vehicle skins, or in some cases give you the featured character outright. After 70 dice rolls, the board itself changes, adding more featured character tiles and increasing your overall odds of collecting the S-rank character to around 20%. By 90 dice rolls, you are guaranteed the character outright. Yes, with no 50-50. In fact, anytime you get an S-rank character on a limited banner, whether it's from the purple box or a gold box, it is always the featured character. Pity carries over between banners, so your progress isn't lost when a banner ends. By the end of the beta, I was able to get the featured character Nanily to A6 in 279 dice rolls. However, whether this is a good system or not is going to fully depend on the pull economy post the launch version. So after spending over 100 hours in NTE, I don't think it's fair to just call it another open world game, and it definitely isn't just anime GTA. When NTE is at its best, it offers things most gacha games don't even attempt: a dense reactive open world, a lighter slice of life story approach, and user-friendly progression systems. When NTE is at its worst, it plays things a bit too safe. The combat isn't innovative enough, the police AI is a bit wonky, and driving felt a bit stiff on keyboard. Of course, this is still a beta, so these negatives can be patched out before the April 29th launch. If I had to rate my overall experience, this is a solid 9 out of 10 for a beta. But if Heist can stick the landing, I genuinely think NTE could carve out its own space in the genre. Personally, I would highly recommend everyone to give this game a try. It's free, so if you don't like it, it's not going to cost you anything. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited for NTE? Are you willing to give a Heist game another shot? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and as always, I will see you guys later, and peace out.